Hello, good morning, students. Welcome all of you. This is the first video on the second semester core paper, that is Mechanics Part 2. Okay, as you all know. And in this particular paper, we have to study 4 chapters or 4 units. Okay, 4 units are there. And the first unit is on non-inertial systems and fictitious forces. You know what is a non-inertial system? In the previous semester, you have studied about frame of references, and there are two type of frame of references: inertial frame and non-inertial frame. Inertial frame means any frame or any body moving with uniform velocity. That is an inertial frame. And non-inertial frame or system is a body or a frame which is moving with acceleration, okay, or non-uniform velocity. So this chapter will deal with the motion of bodies when we describe in such systems, which is an interesting unit, and some associated forces coming under such inertial frames or non-inertial frames, that is called fictitious forces. That will be also discussed. Okay. And when you come to the second chapter, that is on central force motion. We already know different properties of central force motion, and we have seen the example of central force motion with a special focus on gravitational force. Okay, in this chapter we will study more details of central force motion. Okay, it's a separate chapter. And now move on to the unit 3, that is about harmonic oscillator. Okay, we will study in detail about harmonic oscillator, how oscillation is taking place, what are the different type of harmonic oscillator, and what are its different applications in physics and technology. And mathematical treatment will be done on different type of harmonic oscillators. Okay, and unit 4 is about waves. We will study different types of waves and mathematical treatment of waves, mathematically how wave can be expressed, wave motion, and the different phenomena happening in wave motion will be discussed under this chapter. Okay, so these are the 4 chapters or 4 units to be dealt with in semester 2. Okay, now as a part of our convenience, we will begin with the unit 3, that is about harmonic oscillator. And in harmonic oscillator, there are 3 different sections. The first section or first part deal with the simple harmonic oscillator, and associated phenomena. And the second part of this chapter is about damped harmonic oscillator. So you may ask, what is the difference between them? In simple harmonic oscillator, oscillator's amplitude is not decreasing. Okay, in simple harmonic oscillator, it is always remaining constant by amplitude of oscillation. Whereas in damped harmonic oscillator, the amplitude of the oscillation goes on decreasing. Okay, damping is taking place. Okay, we will see in detail what is the meaning of damping and how mathematically such a oscillation can be described. Okay, and the third part and the final part, last part of this unit is about forced harmonic oscillator. Okay, that means some external vibrating force is given and a body or a system is made to oscillate. This is very interesting and which has wide application in different technology. Okay, so we will have a detailed discussion about all the 3 sections, okay, in this chapter. Okay, so these are the detailed syllabus of the unit 3 on harmonic oscillator. Okay, we will discuss one by one in detail and with an interesting manner. You can understand which comfortably, and we will go through many problems, assignments, and other practice exercises. Okay. So first, oscillatory motion. Okay, it's in day-to-day life we come across with so many oscillatory motions. Okay, there is uh, no shortage of examples, starting from the very oscillation of pendulum, and in periodic motion, it's a kind of periodic motion. Uh, why oscillation is periodic motion? Because a particular motion, it get repeated several times. Okay, so any motion that get repeated several times are called a periodic motion, that we know, or that anything that repeats after regular interval of time. And oscillatory motion is such a motion, it repeats after regular interval of time. Okay, so we can say that oscillatory motion is a kind of periodic motion. But keep in mind that all periodic motions are not oscillatory motion. For example, earth motion. Even the earth is moving in a periodic motion, but it is not an oscillatory motion. And similarly, you take the motion of say a spinning top. Spinning top, it is circulating, rotating, is a periodic motion, but still not oscillating. But when we talk about the pendulum, it is also a periodic motion, but it is an example for oscillatory motion. Oscillatory motion. Another example is that of a spring mass system. As you can see in the graphics, suppose you stretch the mass connected with the spring. What happened? Okay, when the moment you stretch the mass down, a restoring force is developed inside the spring, and the moment you release the block, what happens? The spring get compressed. Spring get compressed. As a result, again a compressive strength, compressive energy is developed in the spring, and as a result, again stretch back. Spring stretch back. Okay, so this way the motion or the phenomena will repeat by itself several times. Okay, so one thing is clear, in case of spring mass system, the force operating is the elastic force. Okay, elastic force. Whereas in the case of pendulum, the force operating is the weight of the pendulum or the weight of the ball that is acting upon it, and that is creating the restoring force. Okay, so one is oscillation and the other one is vibration. The thing happening in case of the spring mass system is vibration, vibratory motion, and work that is operating, or the mechanism that is operating in case of pendulum is mass or weight of the ball. So that is a difference. So in the first case we call oscillation. In case of pendulum it is called oscillation. Whereas in case of spring or spring motion we call it vibration, because it is rising out of, it is emerging out of, or it is originating out of the elastic force. Okay, elastic force. So we call it vibration. So that is what is given here. If any oscillatory motion is taking place due to the elastic property of the material, then it is called vibration. So for example, spring mass motion is an example for vibration, because it is evolving out of the elastic force of the spring. And if it is purely due to mass of the body, then it is called oscillation. Okay, you see here it is due to the weight of the ball. Okay, weight is acting upon it. That is why it is oscillating to and fro. So we call it oscillation. I hope the difference between vibration and oscillation is clear now to you. Okay, now let's move on. We will be much frequently coming across the harmonic function and harmonic motion. So first, let us see what is meant by harmonic function. It has a mathematical implication. In mathematics, we deal with sin x and cos x. Okay, and you can plot sin x and cos x on a xy plane. Suppose y is equal to sin x, or y of theta is equal to sin theta. You can plot it by taking y along the vertical axis and the theta along the x-axis. You can plot. You can plot all the points, and you connect all the points. You get a curve like that. We call a sinusoidal curve. You can either have a sin theta curve or a cos theta curve. Okay, both will be similar, except the starting point will be different. Okay, there will be a phase difference of around 90 degrees. Okay, so these are shown in the figure. You can see the cross plot and the sine plot shown. So any function made out of sine and cos are called harmonic function. So what is the role in our context? In our context, the role is that when you plot the displacements or position of a oscillating body with respect to time, you will get a similar graph. You can plot the time along the x-axis or horizontal axis and displacement along the vertical axis. So what you get will be a plot like this, either a sine curve or a cosine curve. Okay, so that is why we call such motion as harmonic motion. Okay, the reason we call them as harmonic motion is that because when we plot the position time graph of a body oscillating or executing such motion, we get a harmonic function curve. So we call such a motion as harmonic motion. Hope the idea is clear. Okay, so any body executing such motion we call harmonic oscillator. So okay, in case of a spring mass system, we can see that we can plot the displacement or position of the body with respect to time, then we will get this kind of a graph. You can plot position of the body with respect to time, you can plot the velocity of the body with respect to time, and you can plot the acceleration of the body with respect to time. In all the cases, you will get such kind of sinusoidal or sinusoidal type of curve. So we call it harmonic oscillator. Okay, so an oscillation which can be expressed in terms of a single harmonic function, we call it a simple harmonic motion. Okay, so you should understand that there are many such oscillations which can be shown with complex harmonic function, complex, for example human bodies. But here simple harmonic motions are those motions which can be expressed with a single sine function, or either a single sine function or a single cos function. Then only we can call it a simple harmonic motion. And in nature there are complex motion where we will have to use so many terms containing sine and cos one, then that is a cos function. So sorry, that is a complex function. In case of simple harmonic motion, we either you need a single sine function or a cos function. Okay, hope the idea is clear. So a system executing a harmonic motion which can be expressed using a harmonic function, either a sine function or a cos function, is called a harmonic oscillator. Okay, all motion happening in the nature are not harmonic motion. Okay, keep in mind, only few are harmonic motion. For example, a vibration of a diatomic molecule, we can call it a harmonic oscillation. Or a radio wave propagating in space, that can be an harmonic oscillation motion. Understand? Similarly, a vibration passing along a melt spring, suppose the frequency is single frequency, then that can be counted as a harmonic motion. Okay, so this way there are so many examples that can be quoted as a harmonic oscillator example. Or a spring mass system, a ideal spring connected with a mass, if it is made to oscillate, that will be giving a harmonic oscillation. Okay, and in fact ideal harmonic motion is very rare. Most of the motions are actually damped one, or containing some frictional force, some containing some viscous force. So what happens? The amplitude of such a motion will decrease with time. So that is what is shown here. Ideal simple harmonic motion is shown with a constant amplitude curve, whereas natural vibration usually taking place are mostly of frictional type, where amplitude decreases with time. So we call it damped harmonic motion. So a graphical representation of a ideal harmonic motion and a damped harmonic motion is shown in the figure. Okay? Hope the idea is clear. And now let's come back to again simple harmonic motion. We will study in detail about it. In any simple harmonic motion, whenever the mass is vibrating or oscillating with respect to a mean position, there is always a restoring force on the body. Okay, that is acting towards some center or that is acting towards some equilibrium portion. In the figure you can see we have shown equilibrium portion with a dark black line. Okay, so when the body is going away from the equilibrium portion, there is a force acting towards this. And similarly, when it is moving closer, there is a restoring force acting opposite to it. So this way always there is a restoring force acting, and that restoring force or acceleration is proportional to the displacement from the fixed point. Okay, fixed point, and is always directed towards that point. Whether it is moving away or closer, that direction of the force is towards the equilibrium point. Okay, for example, in this case, suppose let the body be displaced by a distance x from the mean position, then the restoring force it will be proportional to the displacement. Understand? So we write F restoring is proportional to minus x, because minus is shown to explain that force and displacement are opposite each other. Force and displacement are opposite. So you can write force is equal to some constant into x. Okay, you can do it. The constant is called spring constant, and force can be according to Newton's law. Force can be expressed as mass into acceleration. Mass into acceleration. Say m is equal to minus kx. Understand? And so we get what? Acceleration is equal to minus k by m into x. So we get an expression for the acceleration. Okay, you can see that in case of simple harmonic motion, body always experiences an acceleration. That acceleration is directed to some equilibrium point, some fixed point. Okay, whether body is moving away or towards it, there is always a force acting on the body, or acceleration, you can say. So now let us deal this motion a little mathematically. Okay, then we will get so many parameters connected with this motion. Okay, so already we have f is equal to minus x. So here what we are going to see is we will find out the required or requisite differential equation for the simple harmonic motion. Okay, that is our purpose. So we have already f is equal to minus kx, and you know f is equal to mass into acceleration, and acceleration can be written as second derivative of displacement. So m d square x by dt square equal to minus kx. Okay, no confusion here. So you can take the mass to the right hand side and bring minus k by mx to the left hand side. So what happens? We get the m d square x by dt square plus k by mx is equal to 0. So this is actually called the differential equation of a simple harmonic motion. Okay, differential equation of a simple harmonic motion. And again, usually what people do a substitution like this, in which they substitute k by m is equal to omega 0 square. It is having some purpose. Okay, it's purposefully done. Omega 0. What is the meaning of omega 0, or what is the physical significance of omega 0, or physical meaning of omega 0, that we will understand very shortly. So let us do this substitution. So what happens? Our equation become now d square x by dt square plus omega 0 square x is equal to 0. So this is also differential equation for a simple harmonic motion. But in fact actually omega 0 is called angular frequency of oscillation. Okay, angular frequency of oscillation is the technical name of omega 0. K is called a spring constant, expressed as Newton per meter, and m is the mass of the body. Okay, so again now we can go back, proceed. We have the differential equation. We want to solve this differential equation. We want to solve this. When you solve it, we will get the value of x. So in order to solve it, we need a standard procedure. Okay, that standard procedure you have studied in your mathematics paper. Okay, so what we have to do is we will multiply each and every term with 2 dx by dt. What we will do? Multiply each and every term with 2 dx by dt. Okay, so what happens? We get an expression like this: 2 dx by dt d square s by dt square already there, and again 2 dx by dt omega 0 square x dx by dt. So every term is multiplied with 2 dx by dt. Okay, so when you do like this, you can see that this can be written in a beautiful way like this. Okay, so you can check back that this result is obtained by differentiating this function dx by dt all square plus omega 0 square x square. When you differentiate this with respect to time, you will get it. Okay, this is a mathematical technique. Okay, I hope the idea is clear. You get this expression by differentiating this function with respect to. Okay, or we can say we express it in a brief manner, in a compact manner. Okay, so now you can solve this equation. Once you are written in a compact manner, you can solve it by integrating it. Okay, when you integrate, what happens? This differential operator will go, and the right hand side you will get a constant. So now you have the constant on the right hand side. Okay, right hand side is a constant. We have to find the value of c. Okay, we can find the value of c by taking the limits. Okay, initial conditions and all. Value of c can be found by applying initial conditions. Initial condition means at t is equal to 0, what happens, or at x is equal to maximum. Okay, at the maximum amplitude of x, let it be a, something like that. We can apply limits of initial or final conditions. So you will get the final sense. Okay. We know that when x is maximum, that is when the body is at the maximum position, its velocity will be 0. That is a condition. Okay, boundary condition or end condition. Let us apply this condition here in this equation. When dx by dt is 0, x will be equal to a. Okay, we are going to apply this condition here. So what happens? Let's apply. This will become 0 and x will become a. So we get to omega 0 square s square equal to c. Okay. So now we can write what? Yes, this c is now omega 0 square s square. So we removed c and placed omega 0 square s square. So we wrote the differential equation now like this. Okay. So again, this is the second order differential equation. So we get a dx by dt all square. Previous one was the second order differential equation. We integrated once, we got this expression. We applied the limits. So we got a dx by dt all square plus omega 0 square x square is equal to omega 0 square x square. A simple rearrangement. Okay, left and right rearrangement will give you dx by dt is equal to plus or minus. Okay, because the square root is coming over here. So plus or minus omega 0 square s square minus omega 0 square x square. Okay, so dx by dt is actually called the velocity. Understand? Velocity. And dx by dt is equal to omega 0 you can take outside, and inside will be square root of h square minus x square. Okay, and there is a plus or minus coming because we are taking square root. And bringing a square minus x square to the left hand side, we get a dx by square root of a square minus x square is equal to plus or minus omega 0 dt. Okay, so that is what is written. So you can see that there are two results. One is plus omega 0 dt, that is shown here. One is minus omega 0 dt, that is shown here. You can have separate solution for both plus and minus. Once again we can integrate. Earlier we integrated once, we got one step closer to the result, and now again once again you have to integrate, you will reach the final result. Okay, because for solving a second order differential equation you will have to integrate 2 times. If you have a third order differential equation, you will have to integrate 3 times. That is all. Okay, so let us integrate it. You can integrate it. So this is the standard differential form. Its solution is very simple. You can get it as sine inverse x by a plus omega 0 t plus some constant, integration constant. We call it phi. Okay. Since this is standard integral form, no need of an explanation. So sine inverse x by a is equal to omega 0 t plus phi. So you can write x by a is equal to sine omega 0 t plus phi, or x is equal to a sine omega 0 t plus phi. You got the solution. It shows how x is related to time. Okay, x is a sinusoidal function of t. Similarly, you see there is a minus omega 0 t here. You can integrate it. Okay, on integration, what happens? This again is a standard integral form containing a minus sign here. So when you integrate it, solution will be cos inverse. Cos inverse x by a is equal to omega 0 t plus some other initial constant value. Okay, so that we took as delta. So you can again write it as x by a is equal to cos omega 0 t plus delta, or x is equal to a cos omega 0 plus delta. So what does it show? It shows that the displacement of the body can be either expressed in terms of a sine function or a cosine function. Both are correct. Only change will come in the initial constant, okay, integral constant, phi or delta. With appropriate phi or delta, you can use either x is equal to a cos omega 0 t plus delta, or you can use x is equal to a sin omega 0 t plus delta. Okay, both are equally true. One can proceed with any of these solutions. So in many books you can see either a sine function or a cos function. Both are correct. Okay, so that is what is shown here. Above are two solutions of the differential equation of the linear simple harmonic oscillator. Linear in the sense that force is proportional to x. That is why linear. If force is proportional to x and x square, x cube like that, then you cannot say linear simple harmonic oscillator. Understand? Okay. But here we are only talking about linear simple harmonic oscillator, so no problem. And velocity, we have already got the expression. We have written that dx by dt is equal to omega 0 root of a square minus x square. Okay, here this is velocity dx by dt. So we can write v is equal to omega 0 into root of a square minus x square. Understand? More specifically, you can write v of x. That means velocity depend on the x value. At different points along the oscillation, velocity will be different. Okay, hope the idea is clear. And one more thing, we have written x is equal to a sin omega 0 t plus phi. In the course of time, we had mentioned that omega 0 we will separately discuss. And now let us discuss what is the physical meaning of omega 0. Okay, for that, what we are going to do is, in this t, okay, t, we will add some 2 pi omega 0, t plus 2 pi omega 0. So let us see what will happen. We are adding an extra with t. So we have written t plus 2 pi omega 0. Okay, an additional time is added with t. So if you expand it, what you can see? When you expand it, you will see that that is equal to a sin omega 0 t plus 2 pi omega 0 cancel plus 5. And you know, whenever you add a 2 pi with any sinusoidal function, the result will be again the same sinusoidal function, a sin omega 0 t plus 5. Understand? So what does it mean? It means that when you add 2 pi by omega 0, you got the same function back. You retain the original function. That means the added term is nothing but the period of the oscillation. Whenever you add something with a periodic function, you get the same result. That means that added term should be the period of the function. So you can say that 2 pi by omega 0 is the period of the function. T is equal to 2 pi by omega 0. You can write t is equal to 2 pi by omega 0. This is a standard result, very useful result. You must take care of this result. And already we have written omega 0 square is equal to k by m at the beginning. For omega 0 is equal to root of k by m. We can put here, you remove your omega 0 and put k by m. So what we get, t is equal to 2 pi by root of k by m. Or you can simply write t is equal to 2 pi into root of m by k. So period of oscillation can be found from this relation. If you know the mass, if you know the spring constant, you can very easily find the period of oscillation without actual oscillation. Okay, without actual oscillation, you can easily find the period of oscillation. Okay, this equation has so many applications in different areas of physics, not only in mechanics, even in quantum mechanics, many other molecular science, molecular physics, we make use this result. Okay, so it has long, far-reaching consequences. Okay. So here is now the time for assignment. We have a single problem. A particle executes a simple harmonic motion of amplitude 25 meter and period 3 seconds. What is the minimum time required for the particle to move between 2 points 0.125 meter on either side of the mean portion? Okay, the question asks you, you have a oscillation, simple pendulum oscillation or simple harmonic oscillation. Its amplitude is given, period is also given, and what is the time required to oscillate from 0.125 meter on left and right side? Okay, so left and right side. So this is the x value actually. Okay, we have the expression for simple harmonic motion. X is equal to a sine omega 0. A is given here. Omega 0 you can find out because period is given. We have already the formula. So omega 0 can be found. Okay, so x is given. Right hand side you can take as a plus 0.125. Left hand side if you want you can take minus 0.125 and substitute both. And for first case you can take x1 is equal to a sine omega 0 t1. Understand? And place here 0.125. Okay, phi you take as constant. And the second time for the right hand side you can take x2. You take it as minus 0.125. And t2 you can give, and you can solve this equation to find t2 minus t1. Understand? What is t1 you can find and what is t2 you can find. It's very simple. Okay, just to solve it and find t2 minus t1. That is the time taken to move from 0.125 to minus 0.125. Hope the idea is clear. You can do it and submit it as an assignment in the Google Classroom. Okay, hope the discussion was fruitful and conveying. Hope you understood it. If you have any queries, you can post in the Google Classroom. Wish you good luck. Thank you all of you.